What's going on, guys and gals? Bonafide Hustler here, coming to you live with a live video today. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and today we're gonna try something a little bit new. Goal of this show is to really, take you guys through some of the ways that I do online research on eBay. Plus, I'm going to shed some light on certain things that I know about within this genre or things that I have flipped. So that's the overall goal of the show. Welcome to the show, how to make money selling on eBay. And today we're talking about outdoor footwear. And there's no way we can cover all of outdoor footwear in one show. It's going to be impossible, but maybe we'll, do 2 or 3 more of these things. But today I'm going to, kind of keep it with boots and maybe some sports sandals. And, I want to take a look at what's selling real high. I'm shed some light on the things that I have sold before, and I'm going to show you why these things, really sell for good profit, and why you should be on the lookout for them when you're at a thrift store or at a garage sale or a Plato's Closet or whatever. So just remember, today we're mostly talking about footwear, but it can go off to different tangents. But the overall goal of the show is to really educate you guys with myself and shed to you guys some knowledge, and gals, some knowledge on what is profitable and what can make you money, because that's really, really important. The more that you know, the more that you will make. All right, so let me go into the chat real quick and say hi to some people. We have Michael Plesniak. Hello. We have Lucky. What's up? Saying, oh yeah, it's cheddar weather. That's right, man. You say cheddar weather, you are my best friend today. And Thriller Gorilla Picker and Mike Raleigh. So most of this show is going to be done with screen share, and we're going to kind of take you right through it. So let's get right into the first thing. Let me do the screen share, and you guys have to let me know if you can see the screen share right now. Okay, so I'm going to bring you to this screen right here, and we're going to present it to everyone. All right, so hopefully you can see everything that's right here. I'm going to take it from the very top. We know this screen, it's eBay's main screen. And let's talk about mountaineering boots. I think this is so important because anytime I find a really, really good pair of mountaineering boots, we're talking a solid like $200 or more. So let's talk about what in mountaineering boots and what are the characteristics of mountaineering boots. And are they really different than hiking boots or trail hikers or things like that? Who would buy mountaineering boots? And what's more than likely the state that's going to buy it from you? So when you deal with mountaineering boots, let's kind of go into the search right here, and we'll press search. All right, so there we go. And what we want to do is definitely always look at the sold listings. And we want to go to used, because a lot of times you're not going to find them new. If you find them new, it'll be a place like a sample sale, or it could even be an REI garage sale or something like that. But more than likely, you're going to find them used. Now, as you can see on the side, hopefully you can see me. Let's make sure you guys can see. Can you tell me if you can see the screen share, because it's really important. I'm going to point out a couple things. So let me know, and let me know if you can hear me as well. But we're right into the first product right here, and you're going to be quite surprised with what you see. So I have the chat pulled up on the side right here. I can see what everyone's saying. But I'll assume that you guys can see everything. So one of the most important things that when you're doing a search for something, you're like, oh, I want to know what the most popular brands are. So you can see what I did. I did mountaineering boots, sort by highest, used, and sold, right? Very important. But when you look at the side here, it's going to give you a really good idea of what the good brands are, okay? And there's a particular brand in here that I love, but it's kind of hard to find. There are 2 brands in here that are a little bit harder to find, but I love. So let's talk about this brand right here, Scarpa. That's one of the big ones that no one really talks about out there. I don't ever hear anybody talking about this brand. This brand is freaking awesome. And then Azolo. So Azolo boots are really amazing too, but we'll get into that. So let's take a look at Scarpa ones. Actually, we'll just look at the top real quick. So we'll sort by highest, which I didn't do, but here we go. I'm going to sort by highest. So mountaineering boots look drastically different than hiking boots. In fact, I'm pretty sure someone misdid the mountaineering part and put hiking, and I'll kind of show you the example of a hiking boot real quick. Let me see if I can get to page. That's still mountaineering. So this is more like a hiking boot, and this is someone that put mountaineering as a keyword, but this is clearly a hiking boot, because most mountaineering boots are going to be extremely, extremely hard on the undersole, and they're going to have a really good protective band a lot of times either in the front toe cap, which this one doesn't have, or it's going to be going all around the shoe. All right, so let's give you some examples so you can see what I'm talking about. And that's when you kind of know, like, ooh, I think I have a mountaineering shoe or a mountaineering boot, which is Totally different than just hiking, you know, like hiking an Appalachian Trail or a John Muir Trail. This is built for stuff where you can put crampons on there and do ice stuff. You know, you could. These are very, very, very expensive shoes. In fact, a large majority of good hiking, or sorry, mountaineering boots are going to run somewhere between $400 and $600. I mean, they are not cheap. So we are looking at the used section. Let me make sure and double check used. Okay, so these are used prices, guys. La Sportiva. I have hustled a couple of these. I believe I hustled something Mount something, like a Blanc or anyways, here it is, Nepal. I've hustled one of these before, two of these actually. So, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. See how this like rubber thing goes all around the edge right there? It's almost like a super protective rubber piece. And let's look at this one right here. See the rubber right here? So we got, you know, if you actually put your finger on this rubber, you'll realize, oh my God, like it doesn't budge. It's very, very, very tough, right? And that's because it needs to be able to be hit by rocks, and it also needs to be able to, you know, get crampons on there too. And the crampons don't need to destroy the shoe. And crampons are usually things that the boot, something that cramps onto the boot, and it allows you to usually go up an ice wall or something like that. So you can see right here the bumper that I'm talking about. It's very pronounced on these shoes. In fact, every single one of the top ones right here are going to have that bumper piece, okay? So when you start seeing this bumper piece out there, you should start getting very excited, because typically you're dealing with something that's a little bit better than hiking. So we can keep going down here, and look, these are, you know, these are actually used prices. This is crazy, right? So trust me, I actually found two pairs of these, not at the same time, but like at different times. One I paid 74 to REI garage sale, and the other one I think I paid like 124 to REI garage sale, and one sold for like 275, and the other one sold for like 3 something. But either way, I knew like when you pick this thing up, it's not light. Okay, first of all, it's extremely well built. I mean, I don't know if anything can destroy these boots. They're incredibly well built. But you can see that we're in the $300 category here, and we still have that bumper across, you know, and we have very, very distinct brands at the top here. As you can see, we have a lot of Scarpa, which is a really amazing brand, and we have a lot of La Sportiva, which is very well known when it comes into mountaineering type boots. So mountaineering type boots are also the type of boots that would go up, you know, big mountains, K2. Let's think other mountains like Everest, right? You would definitely want some of these. So, and as you can see, we're still getting into some Nepal Evo GTX that are used, and they look like they've been, you know, 46 bids at $217.50, and we still have the bumper thing across all these shoes right there, and even down to here, La Sportiva, Scarpa, and as you can see, we have two main brands. That's really important. When you're doing research like this, you got to start associating, like, what am I seeing? What are the brands that I'm seeing the most? This is kind of an interesting brand that I didn't expect to kind of see up here, but Loa is pretty good. It's a little bit more of a hiking type brand. But anyway, they make mountaineering boots, and so there's some right there. I've never actually hustled a pair of Loa mountaineering boots because I just never find them. But the Scarpa ones and the La Sportiva ones I have found before. So that is definitely one of the first things. A lot of times also with the mountaineering boots, you're going to find that they have extremely, extremely well built everything, like down to the eyelets and the guide holes and everything. We can take a look at this one says brand new with tags. I don't even know why this one will be in the used section, but essentially you can kind of see closer on these shoes. Let me go into this listing right here. We have, you know, look at that right there. I mean, that is just heavy duty, amazing stuff. So basically, yeah, you crisscross it, and then you lace it up this way, and sometimes you go around the boot from the behind, and you get those other clips that are on the side there, you can see. And a lot of times these things are heavily, heavily insulated as well. So that's one of the other differences that you will notice when you're dealing with mountaineering boots. There's going to be some sort of insulation inside typically. So there you go. So mountaineering boots, definitely one of the things you want to start looking for. There, if you ever see this style right here, this is a little bit more hiking related. Like, see this style right here where it's like all one-piece leather, or just all leather with no bumpers or anything like that, except really, you know, it has a sole that's been sewn on right here, right? You can see the stitching and everything. This is more of, you know, the keywords of vintage, hiking, leather, made in Italy. Like, those are really, really important types of keywords that you want to put in there. So I'm gonna look at the feed real quick, but Adrian Molina says, I've flipped a couple hiking boots because of Bonafide Hustler. Thank you very much. Good money. I would have never done that before. Thank you, Bonafide Hustler. So you're welcome. Actually, I'm gonna turn this fan towards me a little bit. It's a little hot in this room. Hold on. All right. And so let's go through let's take a look at some more right here. So we're still in the, basically $200 category. We saw that bumper across each side and all that kind of stuff. Limmer's a good brand. I've never found Limmer before, but I know to look out for this. So if you ever seen a Limmer or a Danner or something like that, really good stuff. Zolo, not exceptionally well known for mountaineering boots, but really well known for hiking boots. So you'll see that coming up soon. We'll go to page 2 and take a look at some of this stuff. We still have these main brands like Sportiva, Scarpa. They're all here. Sportiva. Here's another Scarpa right here. And I'm surprised this one is classified as mountaineering, because this one's starting to, not be in the, this is what you're looking for right here. You're looking for this kind of style when you're dealing with mountaineering boot. Huge bumpers right there like that. So be on the lookout for this. Definitely more of a sleeper type hustle, because if this comes to a thrift store, they're probably not going to put this in a glass case. They're probably going to throw it out to the shoe rack and slap a price like 20 bucks or sometimes a little higher. But either way, 20 bucks or a little higher, you can kind of see that we're still on, there's a huge market here, right? We're still on page 2 and page 3, even if you were to buy it for 20 bucks, and it kind of looks like, see, like right now, here we go, like one like this, like even if you were to do $20 and spend your money on this, you could still get 83 out of it. So that's not bad. And 83 with 10 bids really realistically is more like 100 with a buy it now. So anytime that you do this kind of stuff, I really would not put auctions. Like, I don't know why people do auctions anymore. Like, we live in a time of now and people just want things and they want it fast. So anyway, so let's talk about the other style that you want to be kind of looking for. So when you're dealing with mountaineering or hiking boots, this style is really, really amazing. It's the more vintage style. Sometimes you'll find the red laces or the yellow laces. And these are, to me, more hiking related. And I love putting these in the booth if they're like no-name brands, or I can't find the size for some reason. I'll stick them in the booth. They always sell. Outside of that, you definitely want to put them, here on eBay, because there's a huge market for vintage hiking boots. In fact, let's just go to the top and put vintage hiking boots, right? And of course, we still have the same filters. We have sort by highest. We have pre-owned, which is basically used. And we want to go to solds. So right there. All right, so we're at the top of the whole list here. And you can see now what I'm talking about. Like, the actual vintage look of a hiking boot is typically only really one look, which is this look right here, which is, sewn on undersole, really nice laces. Not laces, but there's a term for this. I think they're called eyelets, but I think there's another term for this stuff. So someone in the feed, please help me out. But this is where you're going to start seeing a lot more brands, and there's no real method to the madness, I guess, right? I mean, I think at the top you'd find a lot of Vask, which I've found these before. I've found almost every Vask before. That's probably the biggest one that you will find out there. But there's some of these other brands, like some of these Italian brands that you never would think, like if you ever see this in a store, like you should be popping on this, because there's so much keywords you can spam this thing with. It's ridiculous. But you can see the kind of style that we're looking at right here, right? These are very, very, I mean, I don't know why this is in there, but this style right here is very important. Typically red or yellow laces you will find with these, and they're going to be heavy. So don't be surprised if you pick it up, you're like, holy crap, this is really heavy. It's going to be sometimes a little harder to find the size, because they're going to be looking like this. That's the thing, right? And they could have been used for 20 years and they still will look like this. I mean, they're literally indestructible. This style of boot is very, very hard to destroy. I'm talking like even creasing on the side. You don't find many with any kind of cuts or creases on the side. You'll find a ton with just, wear on them. But it's, with that amount of years or that amount of use on the boot, especially in the ankle region, it's sometimes hard to identify the model number, right? If they even have model numbers, or the size. So every now and then you have to pull out an insert if there's an insert inside the shoe and see if you can find a European size, right? Or you can measure from the sole back from the sole front and put that in your eBay listing. and attempt to do it that way, which, you know, I've done it that way and some sell that way, but it's not super advisable. But that's, if you can't find the size, I mean, a lot of time you just have to resort to just describing it as well as you can. But you can kind of see that there's so many different brands here. In fact, let's look at the brands, and you'll see there's Danner, Dexter, Loa, Nike, Reichly, I have no idea how to say that, Red Wing, Timberland, and Vask. Vask has a large majority of them, so you should definitely be looking for a lot of Vask ones. But definitely this style, because Vask does make a ton of hiking boots that are also not profitable, right? So you just got to know which ones to look for. If we go to Danner, for example, I love this brand. You can kind of see that vintage Danners look real cool. They have an amazing, look at these right here. Like this, I don't even understand like why this sold for this much. Like this should be over $100 like boot with a better picture than this. This is a terrible background, terrible picture. Yeah, this could have been over $100 boot with the right picture. But you can see what is going on through my head, or you can see the key takeaways of what to look for when you are actually at a thrift store or at a, you know, garage sale or something. You don't pass this stuff up. And this style right here, I mean, this is just sad that this person decided to do an auction for these things and didn't decide to maybe even clean them up a tiny bit, right? I mean, but just beautiful, beautiful boots that if done right, that could have been over $100 like all day. So, and they look awesome. Like, I mean, look at that. So that's what the Danner logo kind of looks like. It's cursive and it's slanted a little bit, but these are amazing. Like if you, some of the things that you might run into is you find these in the eyelets. You can see the eyelets right there are oxidized, right? So they'll turn kind of bluish. I think it's because maybe the eyelets are made out of, it could be some sort of metal or maybe brass, but either way, that's normal. So don't try to clean that up. Just really good pictures and you'll be good to go. You can see that this one has cuts in the front and all that kind of stuff. But still, this, to me, if this was in my hands, I could have got over $100 for these, like all day. So, because these are not far gone whatsoever. If you've ever hustled boots like this before, you will know that you'll know when far gone is far gone, and these are not even close. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that part. Let me stop this screen share and come back to you guys real quick. If you're enjoying the show, hit me with one solid favor, and that is make sure you hit the like button on this video, okay? Or put a comment, okay? While we're on the subject of amazing things that have a good profit that aren't shoes, okay, that aren't shoes, check out 100 amazing items to resell. It is the first link down below. It'll show you a ton of items. You know, the funny thing is hiking boots are actually in here, and there's a picture of, we conglomerated like the mountaineering and the hiking section, but that's actually one of these things in here. So go check it out. Really good stuff in here, and it's not just boot related, shoe related. It's just a bunch of stuff that you will definitely find at thrift stores and garage sales. So do me a favor, find that down below, first link, PDF. Okay, so let's see, other questions. Okay, so I'm gonna go more into this real quick. Let's go back, let me go back here and share this screen with you. And then here, this screen, hopefully you can see it. Okay, so we're back on the screen here. And we were at vintage hiking boots. So now you guys are educated on mountaineering boots, like what to look for, vintage hiking boots, what to look for. And you know, while we're on the subject of vintage hiking boots, a lot of times the other keyword to put with that would be lumberjack boots. Now, this doesn't mean that, you know, this is going to go to anybody that's going to start cutting down trees or whatever. It might go to some hipster in Portland or some hipster in Austin, and they just want to complete the look with their skinny jeans and whatever and a flannel in the wintertime. So this is a great keyword, is lumberjack. So if I put lumberjack boots in here, and we're going to do used, and let's see here, sort by highest. Not a bad, wow, this is really weird. Did I actually spell this right? Or logger, sorry, lumberjack or logger. So let's go logger real quick. Here we go. Shipping highest first. And let me get this. Pre-owned, God, 700 more. That's huge. And sold. All right, so there'll be much less than that, hopefully. Let's see, we got 383. All right, so I'm not telling you guys to look for this, all right, because this is not what to look for right here. Look at this crazy thing. It's like half Catwoman, half something else. But let's start looking at this, all right? See these right here, logger boots? Logger boots are interesting. They typically go a little bit higher than normal, right? So that's what a pair of Red Wing loggers look like. Look at that. That's a terrible picture, dusty as hell. Dude probably took $200 with 1510 shipping. That's a great hustle. Who knows where that person got that from? But yeah, these little logger boots are going to be a little bit, taller like that. Wildland, $169 right there. Used right here's another pair right there. Logger boots also are going to kind of look very universal on the bottom. They're going to kind of look like this with a Vibram oil-resistant undersole. So let's take a look at this one. And you can kind of see the Vibram. It should be a Vibram undersole on this one, if I can get the zoomer. Anyways, this will probably show it. Yeah, there's a Vibram undersole. They almost, so many just look exactly like this. But here's some Wescos. There's a brand right there. One of the reasons I said in the beginning of the show why I do the show is also for me to just relearn this stuff. I know to look out for this stuff, but just to relearn it. So we got Chippewas right here, Chippewa, whatever you call it. Some Red Wings. Red Wings are kind of interesting boots or they're very nice kind of boots because they always come with some sort of product code, and it's a little bit easier to find than normal. So if you find Red Wings, Irish Setters, a lot of times the product codes, you can find them pretty quickly, and it'll tell you what model it is. Even though, the models really don't matter that much when it comes in here, because look at this, vintage lineman logger military combat style red, boom. Right here we have Red Wing Logger Max. Look at this, Red Wing boots, Irish Setter loggers, it's just logger. So the model, it's just the style that people are really looking for, right? Style is really important. So there we go. That's what logger boots kind of look like. And I personally like the ones that are a little bit more tarnished. And so let me think here. Let me show you guys. I get really excited when I find stuff that is worn, like way pre-worn and like really awesome looking. See if we can find a style of what I'm looking for here. But yeah, I love like hustling these because it's almost guaranteed money each and every time. But yeah, I like stuff that looks like this. I think that's really cool. Very, very, very in kind of style right now, or ones that look like that. I thought those were really cool. But that's what you're looking for. When you go through the shoe section, and this one especially, like these are really, really, really popular, this style right here. So people love this stuff for, let's see what kind of keywords this person used. Vintage, good is a great keyword because it's clearly probably vintage. Red Wing, steel toe. So he probably put his finger on there and it didn't budge at all. So probably steel toe logger. Work, lace up, motorcycle, boots. So you got motorcycle in there, got logger in there. Hell, you could even put cafe racer instead of lace up maybe, and you appeal to the cafe racer crowd a little bit too. But you can see that the laces are toast, right? But who cares? So this one went for $69.99 with $21.70 shipping, and you can kind of see what I'm looking at. So when you go to a thrift store and you're looking around for this stuff, don't just look in the men's section, right? Like go in the women's section. A lot of things just get shifted around in thrift stores, and make sure you look in both sections for these kind of things. And there's even some, let's see if there's even women's. I don't even know if women's even exist, but let's take a look. These are really interesting, but you probably never find those. But yeah, okay, so I like women's will typically, I think, have a taller heel of some sort. Yeah. Okay, so you can kind of see right here, we got women's distress, like Chippewa, I guess that's what it's called. And we have some right here. And don't dismiss the women's section too. They're really cool, and they're really, this one's beautiful. Look at this. These are Harley Davidson ones, man, logger style. But that is a good looking boot right there, right? See what I'm talking about? So definitely be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. Really, really important. Now let's go to a very important type of thing right here, hiking boots. Now this is going to be complicated because there's so much in here. So we'll do used, and I'll shed some light on the things that I have hustled, which is a lot of this stuff. So let me see, highest, okay, it's right there. Okay, so you guys ready to see this stuff? Let me make sure that everyone's good with the comment feed here. All right, so, and we have someone that said, I love that look, well broken in. That's right, Thriller Gorilla Picker, I'm with you, man. So well broken in is great. You got weathered is a really, really, really good keyword as well. So let's take a look at these. Let's disregard some of the stuff at the very top, like Hermes or Hermes. No, probably never gonna find that. You might find these Gucci ones. Okay, let's not look at that. Let's start looking at things that you might find, like these Danner, right? Mountain Light Cascade hiking boot. Danner, a little bit easier to find. Forget the Pradas and all that. You might find some Loas, but you start getting around vintage Vask right here. This I have found a couple times in thrift stores, like this one right here. So keep going down, you find Zamberlan, an amazing brand right here. Zamberlan is known for their Vios boot, V-I-O-Z, which is the one that really rivaled the Azolo boot. So I'll show you a Solo and I'll show you some Zamberlan, but they're definitely going to be towards the top here. Here's the Vios right here. So this is a very, very staple, awesome hiking boot. It's got a little Italian thing on the side. It has Gore-Tex written right there. It says Zamberlan right here. And it's a lightweight but very, very capable hiking boot that is all leather throughout here. Like it's one piece. It looks really awesome. So that one is the one that goes up against what's called the Azolo TP 520 GV and the Azolo TPS 520 GV right here. So this is what Azolo kind of has like the marketplace when it comes to hiking boots that are for you know, Appalachian Trail, John Muir Trail, multi-day hikes. Like you would see a lot of people that have a Solos. Like they're just to the moon and back. I mean, people have sworn by these. A brand new pair of Solo TPS 520 GVs are about 320-ish, something like that, 289-ish. And same with the Zamberlan Vios. So if you find these used at a thrift store, I mean, it's not uncommon to sell these things for over $100 all day. So we can see huge similarities between the two. Like here's one, the Zamberlan, I've found that before at a thrift store. I have found this one multiple times at a thrift store. And this is definitely one of the ones you should definitely commit to memory. So that's what it looks like. One of the questions you might have is like, well, I got a pair of Solo boots. Like, I don't know what they are. Like, how do I find out what they are? So right around where that tongue is, if you look to the side of it, there will be a model number. And I'll kind of show it to you if I can find it, like right here. So here's the tongue, and you can see the model number to the side, TPS 520 GV. You might find one that says like a Striker, or there's a bunch of other ones, but TPS 520 GV is kind of like the top of the line, a Solo hiking boot, right? So they look like this. And the good thing about this is if you find it at a thrift store and it's all banged up, if you have some leather cream or some leather polish, you can actually just, I would advise, maybe hold off a day on your listing. As soon as you get home, polish them up real quick and then take the picture the next day. It would make a huge difference. So these don't look, they barely look used. In fact, these definitely came from an REI garage sale because they have X's on the middle inside. I know about that quite a bit. So the bottom looks great too. Pretty basic bottom, right? Nothing crazy. A very, very thick tread pattern, which means this could last, you know, 1 or 2 years depending on how much you hike. But yeah, this is a very go-to brand when it comes to hiking boots. So just remember that brand, a Solo. And as we go down the line, you'll start seeing that the disappearance of the all leather look and the introduction of more nylon and ballistic fibers and kind of stuff like that as the main stuff. So here we go, and I'll show you guys some more stuff. Here we have some Solo way old school ones. This is something you'll probably find before you find your first 520 GVs. You'll probably find these, and these are called Fugitive GTXs, or you'll find the Striker model. And still a great model, right? Still a good shoe to hustle, but a lot of times when I find these, they're pretty worn, because these are great for people that actually want the breathability of the boot. You know, they don't want sweaty socks and all that kind of stuff. And these are a little bit less heavy than the TPS 520 GV, which is the all leather one. But as we go down the line and see what is sold, we have more Fugitives, which is a very, very popular selling one for them, right? Here's some Fugitives in a box. And then we have some 520 GVs right here that have sold that are used. And we keep coming down. And let's see if we can find some other ones that are really notable types of ones. So we keep selling a bunch. You keep seeing these Solo 520 GVs. Very, very important boot to know. And then here's some Zamberlan right here. Zamberlan is not as popular as the you know, TPS models or whatever that from a Solo. Here's Vios right here, GTX. I'll show you the bottom of the GTX. It's very, very, very easy to spot. So if you think you might have some Zamberlans and you really, and maybe this part on the side is faded that says Zamberlan, then at least you'll know, try to find the Italian thing. And then when you flip it over, it should have some red stuff. And you'll know it's nubs on nubs if you have that little, you can see that one nub right there, or those nubs have ripples in them. So you know that this thing is like next to mint. But yeah, 122.50. So that's awesome. I'll show you another really amazing hiking boot that if you find, you might find this one as well, but I saw one come by here. This one, the Salomon Quest 4D2 GTX, they made in various colors. This is one of the more, I wouldn't say this is probably the more popular color, and then there's one that's a little bit harder to find, which is an all black one, which is more tactical related, right? And a lot of people that do tactical training or airsoft gun training, all that kind of stuff, will buy that one. So the Salomon Quest 4D2 GTX is a really amazing boot. It's got all kinds of technology built into it. So it comes in a couple different colors, but there's also an all black one to look out for. This one's Gore-Tex. It's definitely super light, right? So a lot of people like them. And when you look at the bottom, it's not as pronounced when it comes to the nubs on nubs, or let me see if I can find the bottom of it. You can see it's not as deep treads as some of the other ones that we've seen. But this is a very, very interesting boot. Once you find this one, I mean, this one's big money. I found this one many times over. And yeah, so then we come down to here. We have some more Quest 4Ds right there. And you keep looking down, you can see that these are big money. Like if you're watching this right now and you're kind of like, getting kind of bored, I'm trying to teach you things that definitely will, get you anywhere between like 80 and 80 and plus. When you're dealing with the right kind of hiking boots, you're talking $80 and plus. That's money to anybody that's watching this program. So we have more Quest 4Ds right there. I'm trying to tell you guys what you're likely to find. You're likely to find fugitive GTXs out there if you keep your eyes open. The Scarpa ones are a little bit harder to find when it comes to hiking boots. The Quest is very, 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 it's very much out there. See some really ragged out Quest 4D2 GTXs right here. 110. Anytime that you see GTX on any of these boots, it means Gore-Tex. So just so you know, like it's kind of like the code for Gore-Tex. So like you can see right here, Vasque Sundowner and GTX. That means these are Vasque Sundowner, all leather, Gore-Tex hiking boots. So yeah, here's Zamberlan Vios Lux GTX. That means Gore-Tex. So there we go. And we have other ones down here, still some Zamberlans. We got Zamberlans. We have some La Sportivas. This Ultra Mid 2 GTX is a really good one as well. So there's a Quest 4D GTX and then a Salomon X Ultra Mid 2. Mid meaning it's a little bit less tall, right? It's an Ultra Mid 2 GTX, means Gore-Tex. And this one's almost all nylon, so durability probably not there, but how light it is and everything, it's good for a multi-day hike, but nothing really prolonged. And there we go. So yeah, those are hiking boots. Some more fugitive GTXs, and we just keep going down and down and down. And these are all great money. I find a lot of these, like when I go out, I find them at Savers for some reason. Like if I can think back to all the hiking boots that I found, they're coming from really two places. One is the REI garage sales, and the second one is Savers. Savers, if you look hard enough, you can find these things. So we still here. Here's a good one that I sold. I sold one of these for like 100 that I bought for $5 at a garage sale like 4 months ago. These are called Danner Crater rims or whatever. But yeah, I found a really small pair, like a men's 8 for $5 and sold them for 100, like not too much later than that. And yeah, so hiking boots are good. I would stick with really well-known brands. All right, so out of all these brands right here, I like a Solo. I love La Sportiva. Merrill has a sleeper type boot that many people don't know about. So in fact, let me just go into Merrill and I'll tell you what the sleeper boot is, the one that no one knows. The Merrill Wilderness, this one right here. All right, this one's tough to find. I've only found two in my entire life. But yeah, a person in town came and bought it off me because it was on Craig. I don't know how. I decided to put it on Craigslist for a second. I did a double listing from eBay to Craigslist, and some guy just freaking bought it off me on Craigslist. But yeah, he's like, dude, those things, like no one knows about these, but they're incredibly well built. Plus, you can get them resold and everything. So, Merrill Wilderness Hiker, all right, all leather. You would never think, right? Here's another one right here. Completely worn out ones. Let me show you real quick. Merrill. Well, Merrill Wilderness, and you'll kind of see. Let's go to used, and some of these are ragged out, totally ragged out. But yeah, okay. So here's a Wilderness one. This is the style that I want you to look for when it comes to these. It's so weird. I found a pair of these with the blue strings on them and everything. And even when they're getting kind of worn, let's find a worn pair here. Hell, this is like not even, looks like the people that buy these, man, they just keep them. Like, that's what I've noticed about these. Like, they're people want these so bad, but like they're hard to find. So it looks like that. It's so plain. Like, you would just never think. I'm curious to see what the bottom of this shoe looks like. These are in great condition, man. Look at that. So whoever bought this got a deal. But yeah, so that's definitely one of the ones to look for right there. That's a sleeper, meaning it's a bolo that nobody talks about, and it's one of those ones that, hey, if you're lucky enough to remember this video, you could look out for this one right here. The one that I found a brown pair before, and it wasn't green laces, but I did find the second pair I found was black with the blue laces. And I thought that was awesome. I found them from a garage sale too, of all places. I paid like nothing for them, like $2. And I believe I sold them for like 100 on Craigslist, something like that. So that's a sleeper one right there. Let me go back. Hopefully you're having fun here. This is just a big research type show. And this is the type of stuff you guys needed to be doing in order to stay educated. And if you always want to be on the cutting edge of learning what sells and everything like that, you have to do stuff like this. When it comes to North Face hiking boots, like, I'm not a huge fan of North Face hiking boots because they make a lot of bad ones. So I would say no to that. Salomon makes amazing hiking boots and trail hiking shoes, which we won't get to the trail section today, maybe on another show. Merrill makes pretty decent ones. Of course, the Wilderness, and there's a couple other ones. I'll show you what the other ones are. If I can find them here. This is one that you'll probably see at a thrift store all the time. It's called the Moab Mid. And it won't be Gore-Tex, but it'll be called like Merrill Waterproofness. They call it Merrill Dry. No, it's Keen Dry, but there's one called Merrill Waterproof. It will say on the side right here. So this is one to look for, Moab Peak, right? Or Moab Mid. So Peak is the tall one. I think Mid's the one after that. You can see right here. So a Mid is going to have like a diagonal cut right there, and it's going to be mid-height. Peak is going to be the tall one. But this is definitely one that you should be looking out for too when it comes to a thrift store especially. Let me make sure I'm unused here. Yeah, we're unused. So you can kind of see that these are kind of all over the place. So this is definitely a thrift store type look for it. And they make women's ones as well. They kind of look like Reebok pump shoes with the thing in the top right there, but they don't pump, trust me. And you can see we got more mid, we got tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of those, right? Or that kind of style. So just keep that in mind. That one's a good one to look for. Let me go back real quick, show you guys something else. Remember how I said that there's some Vask that are like really bad and they make some really crappy ones? So I'll kind of show you those right now, or the ones that I really stay away from. They can be a trap because they can be awesome. They can look really cool. And this is one of the traps right here. Like this one, unless you find a mint, like I wouldn't get into a Skywalk Gore-Tex. Like they just, let me get back and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Like these are traps, man. Like a lot of these are what I consider to be trap boots. They get you into a trap. Like you think it's worth a ton of money, but it's not. Like here's some Skywalk 7534 Gore-Tex. Like I have found these multiple times over, and sometimes you end up selling them for 45, sometimes 50, but the shipping, you know, since it's a kind of a taller boot, might get you, and it weighs a little bit more than normal, you know, so be careful with that. Things like this that are just random Vask Gore-Tex Skywalks or things like that you might be like, holy crap, I got gold now, you know. Be careful because the shipping is higher on hiking boots. And what I have found with Vask, especially Vask, is that they delaminate. Like if you find a pair, you better make sure to do a good scan over. So two things I find: delamination, which means that the sole separates from the main body of the shoe. And the other issue that I see, it's not even an issue, but there's excessive wear on stuff like this. When I find these at thrift stores, there's almost always excessive wear on the bottom. So delamination, which is likely to happen right around here on the shoe, or it'll happen right at the very, very front. So do your due diligence and freaking spend some time and look the thing over. It's really, really important. But yeah, you can kind of see how this one's like kind of a trap. You would think it's worth some money, but it's really not. This one delaminates a lot in thrift stores too when I see it. So be careful with that. I figure part of making a good show and some good content for you guys is to also guard your money, right, and tell you where to guard your money, because really good hustling comes down to calculated risks, finding the right products, knowing when to buy, and then just doing it and doing the proper, shipping procedures, explanations, keyword spamming, whatever you might want. But it's also to guard your money, right? I mean, there's two ways to make money. One is to make more of money, right? The second way is to just not spend as much. So think about it. Let me make sure that all the stuff is going down here. Oh man, so all kinds of people are talking right here. They want to know about the REI garage sale. Yes, so REI garage sale, for the longest time, it was one of my biggest secrets of all time. In fact, for probably the first 2 years of my channel, maybe a year and a half, for the first 2 years, okay, we'll just say 2 years, it was one of my biggest secrets because if you are a member of REI, if you go to their garage sales, which happens once every quarter, usually, they let go of their returned merchandise. And REI has a, they've redone their policy recently, but I think it's 1 year now, but it used to be unlimited, like kind of like Costco. Like if you're not satisfied, you just return it. So you would find amazing deals there. I'm talking phenomenal deals. Bike racks, bikes, sleeping bags, tents, anything that's in REI would be at the garage sale. And it was not uncommon to go to a REI garage sale and be in line for hours, right? And the key of the REI garage sale was to be early enough to where you're at least maybe one of the first 10 or 20 through the door, because those people get the best chances of getting some bikes or bike racks or kayaks or really big things like that. And so it became kind of like, I'm just admitting everything right now, but it became kind of like an addiction. Like almost every single quarter, we have 3 REIs here in Austin, Texas. Like I would go to every single one of them on a Saturday morning, but I would camp out at 1. Like I would camp out at 1, either staying there at like midnight and waiting for the store to open at 9, or maybe getting there at 6 in the morning, still waiting for it to open at 9. And I was just doing experiments, and I would do this over 2 years. Like I would experiment if I went there at midnight, where would I be in line, as opposed to if I went at 4 in the morning or at 6 in the morning. And it's really interesting, the dynamics of everything. But by the time the doors open at 9 a.m., they let everyone in line in. Not everyone, but they let whoever's been waiting there, and people camp out there. They got sleeping bags and they're making coffee, and like it's really neat. It's a good experience actually. But depending on where you are online dictates how much money you ultimately make. And the interesting thing is, it's not uncommon for the line, at least here in Austin, Texas, to start wrapping around whatever the store is and through the parking lot. And like, it's not uncommon to have like 300 to 500 people in line trying to get in the store. Like it's pretty crazy. Like you would think it's some Black Friday thing. It's nuts. So they've done away with some of the aggressive pricing that they used to do. They used to do stuff like 50% or 80% off of everything in the store that's returned, or like 90% off. And I'm just talking like I was just dropping thousands and thousands of dollars and filling up my cars with merchandise, and then spending the next week or two just purging it out. And so those days are gone though, because REI as a company, with the advent of Amazon Prime and all this kind of stuff, now they realize that they're losing a lot of money doing this stuff. So I was just lucky to be part of something that was just, I think, a lot of fun. In fact, if it still is a rainy day or extremely cold and I know there are no garage sales, but I know there's an REI garage sale, you'll probably see me waiting outside of an REI like at 5 in the morning. Like it's still a lot of fun. You're around all these outdoors people, and it's just fun. You freeze your ass off, or you get rained on or something like that. It's just a really good experience. So, but that's one of the places you can get incredible outdoor goods for good money. I know right now they've redone their pricing structure, so when it comes down to REI garage sale time, I'll kind of paint the picture for you, right? But 3 years ago, 4 years ago, like you would walk into the store, like I would just knock out all these bikes. I would buy sometimes 2-3 bikes, sometimes 2 to 3 bob strollers. other random stuff I would get into. And then at the very back is like a shoe bin, huge bin thing, like huge, enormous. And they would just like take all these paper bags out that have, or no, boxes that have all the return shoes for the quarter. And they would just put it all on the table and just like piles and piles of shoes. And you're sifting through like Hoka 1-1s and Azolos and Zamberlins and Scarpas, and you're sifting through all this stuff. And some of it is heavily used, some of it, okay? But a large percentage of it was like used one time or one hike, or it rubbed my ankle wrong, like, you know, like things like that. So you would get into these shoes for like nothing. I'm talking like, you know, like Hoka 1-1 shoes for like 10 bucks, 20 bucks, like unbelievable things, like things that were just open. It was a gift, didn't like it, like, and that would be on the table for like $20. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I don't know if the pricing structure is like changed across America, but it's definitely one of those things that you should experience. In fact, I was doing it for like a solid year, and I told College Picker to start doing it. And the first time that he went, he made over $1,000. He waited in line for like 3 hours or something, but he made over $1,000 that day. I remember that. You know, does that happen now? The last time I've made $1,000 off an REI garage sales, it's been a while, right? But there still is money to be made. And if you want just really sweet outdoor gear for a discount, then the garage sale is definitely cool just in that respect. So I hope that actually, yeah, I'm telling you, do you have to, oh, here's a question. Henry S., do you have to be a member? Yes, you do. If you guys want me to do an actual show on how to master the REI garage sale, I actually thought about building a guide about this thing and everything. But if you want me to do a show about it, then let me know. And I will do a show strictly based upon that one thing and how to execute it. Because I don't think people really understand like how much I used to do this stuff. Like, so I consider myself an absolute REI garage sale pro, like absolutely. But yeah, I would totally, I was doing REI garage sales even before my Bonafide Hustler channel was like going down. So just kind of give you insight. Yeah, but I can help you out. I can definitely help you out. I'll tell you the strategy behind it, what you want to look for, when to call it quits, you know, how to decode things. What does a product tag look like with, I got REI product tags that have explanations on there. Like it smelled weird, or like it rubbed my ankle wrong, or it doesn't bend right. Like I have these product tags, and it's tacked onto every shoe. Every product has a product tag explaining why I got returned. And I've got a closet, literally like there might be close to 1,000 tags in a shoebox somewhere in that closet that has just all these explanations about why the merchandise was returned. It's really interesting. But I have found GoPros there, amazing sunglasses, freaking everything, dude. Camping stoves, camping tables, bikes, bike parts, locks, freaking biking shorts, down jackets, cool pants, anything you can imagine. Like I've done it. Okay, now, is it worth it now? I don't know. But on the next one that's coming through, I am definitely going to it, but I don't know if it's worth it anymore. I know in the past year it hasn't been, but I still go to it because there are a couple cool deals that I find. I managed to find some deals that are under the radar, but I know that's just for Austin. I don't know how it is across the country. I would imagine that it might be the same, but I don't know. Okay, let's talk about one more thing before. That was definitely a tangent, but a fun tangent to go through. Let's go through one more thing right here, and then I will be off. Hopefully, I haven't even looked at the likes or dislikes on this video. So if you want to surprise me, you know what to do. Let's go through this one last category. Hopefully you can see this, called sports sandals. Now, sports sandals are interesting because I mean, so many people can put like, oh yeah, these are sports sandals, blah blah blah. But when we go to this and used, and all right, or maybe we'll put water. Let's see if that makes it. Here's the sleeper right here. Okay, so I wanted to show you this sleeper one real quick. This one right here, it's called the Unique. Now, I call it a sleeper because I know it's definitely a sleeper, but I've never found one. But I wanted to share it with you guys. This is definitely a huge bolo. It looks like a bunch of string and something weird looking like that. That's definitely one of them. When you find these Keen ones that are like armored out in the front sides, And this is one of those, it's definitely get in as low as possible, but you know, see if you can eke out 50 bucks, 40 bucks, 60 bucks for some of these, because they got all these. This is probably the #1 keen selling sandal out there. It's called a Newport. Okay, Newport H2. They make a men's one as well. Here's the men's one right here. They're so ugly, but yeah, apparently people love those shoes. You might see some of these out there. They're like water shoes. They're called Water Pros. These are hella uncomfortable. But you can see this one right here, the Unique. This is one of the ones I'm like trying hard to find. And I'm sure it's right around the corner, but I want you guys to memorize this one. It looks like a bunch of, nylon strings converging into a footbed of some sort, but definitely look out for this one. I wanted to leave you guys at least with this one big bolo right here, the Unique, for sure. Because if we just go into Keen Unique, let's look at the market here, right? Sort by highest. So this is not the market we see right here. The market is when you hit used and you hit sold. That is the market, right? That's what's selling. So the Unique right here, great. I mean, this is something that I know once I start finding these, it's going to be a 10 or less, sell for 50 or more kind of like hustle. So we can see, look at all these Uniques right here. 50 bucks plus $10 shipping, right? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's pretty good. I consider this a pretty good bolo. When you see 41 with 4 bids with 10 shipping, that could have been 50 with free shipping or 60 with free shipping. It's just someone decided to do auction. Don't know why. So, but that's one of the ones I want to leave you guys with right there is the Keen Unique. Very, very important. I've always been intrigued by this brand, but I can never find any decent ones. But you can look at the Teva sandals. There are some, like, they're up there, but it's hard to explain. Like, let me just find them real quick, and then I'll just tell you which ones I think would be the ones you definitely want to look for. Like I said, I also learned through these shows as well. But so like Teva makes sandals as well, and Teva had its heyday back in the day. But some of these are interesting. Like these almost look like old school ACG Nikes right here. So I've had a pair of these before, and they look like the bottom of a hiking boot with the straps of a sandal. So if you can find this one, it's probably worth like 50 bucks, legitimately. But yeah, most of the Teva ones are just so hit and miss that I can't really back any of these. And this is terrible. Like this is a Choco. I don't even know what this is doing, Teva. But yeah, it's hard for me to back any of those except for this one. I know that people look for that one right there, and the ones that have more of like the hiking undersole, like I know for sure this one does. I've had I still might have my pair of these. I probably should sell them because I never wear them. But yeah, these are really interesting. I'll show you what the bottom. I mean, these are industrial badass sandals. The bottoms of them look like this. So definitely something to look forward to finding. They don't bend very well, but they have anti-slip rubber on the bottom. What I don't like about Tevas is that the Velcro and everything, once the Velcro hits other pieces of the sandal, like those straps, it just fuzzes everything out. Like, I don't know, and maybe I'm the only weirdo that does this, but it fuzzes everything. Everything turns to fuzz, and it sucks. What I like about these sandals real quick, and the reason why I think these are easily like $50 sandals, no matter where you find them, is that they have pads where the straps merge. See those straps? They're merging to a triangle. There's a pad underneath that, like a rubber pad that you can see now, but before you probably didn't even know it existed. And there's also a pad behind that triangle right there. And it is crazy comfortable, right? I just don't ever use mine. You can see the pads right here. It's almost like a wetsuit piece, like neoprene. So that's definitely one of the parts that gives that sandal away, and why you should probably look for this one. See the pads right there under the nylon straps? So that's definitely one of the ones you probably want to be looking out for. When it does comes to sports sandals, though, I think there's only one real brand that everyone really should know about. And if you don't know about this, you might be living under a rock, but I'll just tell you what it is. You just put Chacos, right? Chaco sandals are the sports sandals of today. This is the one that everyone wears. But I'll tell you which ones are badass and which ones are really heavy. And, you know, if you're going to buy a pair for yourself, I'll tell you which ones are really good. And then if you want just ones for hustling, I'll tell you which ones to get. So we can sort by highest. Let me make sure I did this all right. Used, sold, and highest. Okay. So yeah, we have Teva sandals. That anytime that you find a pair of Teva sandals, there are a couple things you need to consider. One, does my Teva sandals have a toe loop? Which this is the toe loop right here, and some might not have a toe loop, so you can call them strappy, right? Strappy or toe loop, right? So here you can see the toe loop right there. There's a toe loop. Sometimes it's good to put toe loop in there. And then some are just strap like this. No toe loop, just strappy, right? So that's the first thing to figure out what you got. Do you have a toe loop one or do you not? But let me show you the differences between like a Z1 and a Z2. These are all terrible. Man, these ads are just awful. All right, I'll show you a Z2. There's a Z1 and a Z2, and then there's a Yampa. So this one is a Z2. I believe this is the one with the more tam undersole, if I'm not mistaken. So you'll know you have a Z2 because the undersole will be like this. Let me show you. Let me see if this is the tame undersole. I think it is. No, that's the hikey one. Okay, so this one right here is extremely heavy. It's got a Vibram undersole. When you pick this sandal up, you're gonna be like, dude, this is like the heaviest sandal on earth, which it is. And they also make a Z1, which looks like this. The Z1's pretty expensive as well. You can see some of the Z1s right here that are used. Yeah, used, that are around 70 bucks. We'll look at the bottom of a Z1. And that's how you kind of tell them apart. It's very important. It might be the same. I know there's a difference between Z1 and Z2. Oh yeah, the Z1 has a different undersole. Okay, you can kind of see the undersole is different on this one. No more pictures, but you see that it's totally different. It's like more chilled out, right? So Z1 versus a Z2, now you know the difference. When you look at the size of it, if you're going through a Chaco sandal and you don't know what the size is, look on the back right here. And you see W9 dot, right? If you see dash W9 dash, it means it's a wide version of women's 9. But a dot W9 dot means it's a normal, regular kind of medium. So remember, dashes are wides, dots are regulars. So that's the Z1, and then there's one more that you should know about called the Chaco Yampa, or ZX2 Yampa, but these are pretty good too. Definitely a sports sandal to be looking out for. And sort by highest, all that stuff. We got some used ones in here. Let's see what they go for. All right, so here, not bad. You know, this is definitely one of those things that if your eyes are tuned to it, you can find this at a garage sale, you can find it at a thrift store. Go to a garage sale, $5 or less. Go to a thrift store, $10 or less. But see that we got toe loops on this one. Some don't have. Some have just. I think most of these. No, yeah. Some have straps. Some have toe loops. It might be important to put toe loop in there, right? Very important. See that? And but you can see that the most important thing is to know what you got. You have a Yampa. A Yampa is a little bit less aggressive undersole, but a little bit more everyday of a sandal. And honestly, I've had a pair of Z1s, Z2s, and I've had a pair of Yampas, and I've decided to sell my Z1s and Z2s, and I just kept my Yampas. So they make men's Yampas, and these are bitchin' sandals. I'm telling you right now, like these are the sandal of all sandals. They're awesome. So I find with a toe loop that it can get a little bit harder to customize it to your fit, but once you get it, it's pretty dead on every single time. But there's the one to look after right there. We're in the used category, guys, and we're still at like 55 bucks. Look at this. I'm still scrolling. So that's the reason why I wanted you to know about this one, because I see a lot of you guys out there probably picking this thing up for $5 or less at a garage sale because of this video or whatever. Look at that, 33 bids on this. Like, come on, seriously? So yeah, huge market right there. All right, so that's what I wanted to leave you guys with is, and they do make a Yampa that's like a slide-in version, like also without a back strap. I don't know where they are, but anyways, there's some that you slide right in. I know it because my wife has a pair, but these all have the back straps, but there's some you slip right into, just so you know. So if you find that version, it's worth looking up as well. Okay, so that pretty much does the show, how to make money selling on eBay, outdoor shoes. There's no way to do all the outdoor shoes in one video. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were, you know, armed with incredibly good Hustler cheddar weather making ammunition. And thanks for keeping the feed really badass too, guys. Like, I guess I asked to like the video or not. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button on the video. And that's pretty much it. I wish I had a cheddar weather shirt on today, but I have a plain gray. You know where to get the Bonafide Hustler shirts. If you want to support the channel, it's down below. And most important thing, yeah, the shirts are down below. There's a link down for the Bonafide Hustler shirts. Definitely go check them out. Even if you don't buy one, check one out. Check it out and then buy one. But outside of that, the first link down below is the Green Room. That is my company. and it's a place where thrifters unite and get together, talk about stuff. We have a private Facebook group, plus we have a website. And you know, in order to give you guys some really cool free value first, so that way you guys see a piece of what we have this guide that we built 2 years ago that we were charging for at one point, but now it's just free. It's a PDF. Put it on your phone. It is the first link down below. So please go check that out when you get a chance. But thanks, guys. Yves Tess here saying, good show, Chris. I like these videos. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, so just hit the like button. That's pretty much it. I will see you on the next Bonafide Hustler video. I have a conference call soon, but that's basically it. I want to definitely show you guys a cool find that I found, not today, but I found something interesting yesterday. So I have to make a video of that as well. Maybe I'll make it tonight. But till then, guys, I'll see you on the next Bonafide Hustler video, and stay tuned tonight for an awesome green room show on Rakin's channel. See you later. Goodbye.